Doing an MPhil PhD program when you already have a master's degree is a waste of time, and I am going to explain why it's a waste of time because I wasted my time and I don't want you to waste your own time. I enrolled into an MPhil PhD program for two reasons. The first reason was that at the time when I was applying in 2021, the university had a policy that students who get into the doctoral program start with MPhil and then transfer to PhD. And then the second one was that I was not aware. I think here I was ignorant. I did not fully understand what it means to do MPhil and then transfer to PhD. And I failed to do research at the time. I think I was too excited because I got my admission letter and my scholarship letter on the same day. So I was too excited to even ask or question what exactly an MPhil or PhD program is. Even when I was applying, I did not say MPhil. I did not mention MPhil in my application or in my emails when I was applying for admission. I did say I'm applying for a PhD, for a doctoral program, because I already have a master's degree. But when my admission came, it said MPhil PhD. And I did not understand, but I was excited to get in. I was excited to get an admission and get a scholarship. Little did I know what exactly it entails until I got into the program and until I had a discussion with my supervisors and we were brainstorming and planning how I am going to do my research studies for each year or for the whole program of my MPhil PhD. MPhil PhD is maximum 4 years. So when I came to the university, I sat down with my supervisors and then we planned my studies. That is when I learned what exactly MPhil PhD is. So before you enroll, you have to understand the program and what you are signing up for. You have to understand the difference between doing an MPhil only and doing an MPhil PhD and also getting directly into a PhD program. If you don't understand, I made a separate video explaining these three different research programs. The link is in the description. Please go and watch that video so that you understand before you sign up. So now I'm going to explain why it is a waste of time to do an MPhil PhD program when you already have a master's degree. If you have a master's degree, just go directly into PhD. Don't start with an MPhil and then go to PhD. That takes a lot of time and that is going to waste a lot of your time. So I have 5 reasons to explain why it is a waste of time to do an MPhil PhD program when you already have a master's degree. The first one is that progression to PhD is not automatic or guaranteed. When you do an MPhil PhD, you have to conduct research. I conducted 3 studies: a systematic review, quantitative study, and a qualitative study. And then you have to write what we call an MPhil report. They call it a report, but it's a thesis. I wrote a whole thesis from chapter 1 to chapter 7 because you have to write chapter 7. Chapter 7 explains what you are going to do in your PhD program. So you have to do the whole thing, the whole research thing for MPhil, and then you have to defend your work. You have to do a viva and defend your work in front of assessors. And then assessors decide whether you have passed the MPhil, whether you can proceed to PhD. If they are not satisfied, then you don't proceed to PhD. If they are satisfied, you can proceed. Sometimes there are corrections that you have to do on your MPhil report. That is just MPhil. You have to do the same thing again for PhD, the same process again for PhD. So you see that it's a waste of time. If you already have a master's, you're going to do MPhil research and then do PhD research. But if you go directly into PhD, then you are only going to do this once. You are only going to conduct your research, write your thesis, defend your thesis, and then get your PhD. So it's not too much of a long process for you. And remember, I said that progression to PhD from MPhil is not automatic and it's not always guaranteed. There are some flies here. Please excuse me if you see me waving. I'm not saying hello. I'm just waving there to the flies. And then the second reason is that there are administrative delays that you have no control over. When you submit your MPhil report or your thesis, whenever I say MPhil report, just think of thesis, okay? We call it MPhil report at my university, but it's a whole thesis. So when you submit your thesis, they have to find assessors for your thesis and also for your defense. After that, the assessors they take some time to give feedback. It's quite a lengthy process, so there are some administrative delays. And during that time, you cannot do any PhD project or any PhD research until your MPhil is completed and approved. You cannot proceed to PhD until your MPhil has been approved. So you see that the delays are even costing your PhD. In my case, I had more than 1 year delay because because of an appeal. I was not happy with the assessors, and also the assessors delayed me with their feedback. So that cost me almost over a year of my studies, and that affected my PhD. So there are some administrative delays that are going to cost you your time, big time. And then the third one is that your PhD clock hasn't even started yet. Remember I just mentioned now that you cannot do any PhD work until your MPhil is approved. So everything is on hold. In my case, when I was appealing, when I was dealing with assessors' feedback and revisions, I could not proceed to PhD. I could not do anything. I had done some ethical clearance for my PhD project, but I could not collect data because my MPhil was not yet approved. You are not yet in PhD. You are not yet doing PhD, so you cannot do anything that is PhD related. And then also, when you go directly into PhD without doing the MPhil PhD, you bypass the gatekeeping stage, because MPhil is like a gatekeeping stage to PhD. You have to pass MPhil to go into PhD. So when you go directly, if you have a master's degree and you qualify for a direct entry into PhD, then just go directly so that you skip this first approval stage, because you have to get approval for your MPhil to go to PhD. So if you already have a master's degree and you qualify, just go directly into PhD. You know that once you are done with your research, once you are done with your thesis, once you are done with your defense, you wait for feedback for you to be conferred your doctorate, for you to get your doctorate. It's not the case when you are doing MPhil PhD. The first stage, when you are waiting for MPhil, you are not waiting to be called to be given your doctorate, but you are waiting to be approved to go into PhD. You understand the difference? I hope you understand the difference so that you don't make the same mistake that I made. And then the last one is that honestly, MPhil is unnecessary if you already have a master's degree. Yes, it will refine your research skills. It will ground you. In my case, it grounded me. It refined my research skills because I conducted 3 different studies. I had 1 publication. I'm also in the process of trying to publish my second research paper. But in essence, it all goes back to time. I lost a lot of time. The time that was invested into an MPhil could have been invested into a PhD program. The back and forth that I went through with feedback from assessors, having to correct my MPhil report, having to address the comments from assessors, that time and energy, I wish it could have been for PhD, not for MPhil. The approval that I got at the end after a 1-year delay, I wish it could have been for PhD. By now, I could be Dr. Bokamoso. I could not be starting my PhD project. So you see that when you have a master's degree and then you go through MPhil, it's really it's unnecessary. It's just a waste of time. If you can just go directly into PhD, don't waste time with an MPhil. Of course, you can do MPhil if you don't have a master's degree, and they require you to start with MPhil and then go to PhD. Oftentimes, maybe you have only a bachelor's degree. You can start with MPhil. It will be good for you. You can start with MPhil and then progress to PhD. My point here is, if you already have a master's degree and you qualify for a direct entry into PhD, don't do MPhil. Just go and do your PhD directly to avoid the stress, the struggle, the delays that comes with doing an MPhil PhD. Right now, I successfully completed my MPhil. That is done. I started my PhD project. I'm going to go through the same process again. And when I think about that, I just get discouraged somehow. I'm going to go through the same process. I'm going to complete my PhD project, write a thesis, submit, defend my thesis, and then wait for feedback from assessors, wait for them to decide whether I have passed my PhD or not. If I don't pass, I have to go back and correct my thesis. So you see that it's like a round two of the whole process, and trust me, you don't want to go through this process twice, because it's emotionally and physically draining. So please, if you already have a master's degree, just go directly into PhD. Don't waste time with MPhil. And I hope that this video will help you to make an informed decision about the program that you should apply for. And if you don't understand the differences between MPhil, PhD, and PhD, remember the link to the video. I made a video explaining these programs. The link is there in the video description. Please go and watch the video before you apply. All the best.